Last time on Solo Leveling Season 2. After forming a truce with Yisel, the female demon knight, Jin Woo keeps pushing forward until finally reaching the last floor, where he encounters the demon monarch Baron. Meanwhile, the Hunters Association and the allies go over their plans regarding the 4th Jeju Island raid. Despite losing all his support, Jin Woo still manages to clinch victory over Baron with a valuable assist coming from Essel. Is Jin Woo about to obtain the Elixir of Life finally? And will the Hunters be able to put an end to the Jeju Island drama once and for all? Keep watching to find out. Episode 9 kicks off with Sung Jin Woo finally being capable of making the Elixir of Life after acquiring the last item, the purified blood of the Demon Monarch. Before he can craft it, the system shows a caution window that says the success rate of crafting it depended on the intelligence level of the player. Nervous about what will happen but still going through with it regardless, Jin Woo starts the crafting, anxiously waiting as it proceeds. It's a success, and Jin Woo finally possesses the thing he had been searching for all this time, the Elixir of Life. As Jin Woo wonders if it will fix his mother, Iron brings back the Wyvern's dead body so Jin Woo could perform his necromancy on it. He does just that, and the Wyvern, which he names Kaisel, becomes the latest member of his army. Jin Woo wants to test it right away, but couldn't since he was far away when suddenly he remembers he also got a rune stone in the rewards. He uses it, and it gives him Shadow Exchange, an ability that would allow him to switch places with any of his Shadow Warriors. With the opportunity to try the elixir right away at hand, Jin Woo bids farewell to Essel, who is about to tell him something, but is unable to as he already had switched places with his soldier by the time she started speaking. Back in town, Jin Woo learns that he can only use this ability once every 3 hours, so he calls Kaisel to travel home. Meanwhile, Chairman Go and Woo discuss their plans for the raid. Hunters were to lure the ants with their magic powers, after which the organization would send interference waves that should disrupt the communication between the ants, allowing the hunters to infiltrate the queen's chamber and take her out. However, the point of concern here was the interference waves, which had no guarantee of working. They had a plan in place in case such an event happened that would allow the hunters to retreat since getting them off the island was a top priority. Go asks if there was any update regarding Jin Woo, but no contact had been made recently. Around the same time, Guildmaster Beak shares a few drinks with his former partner, Min Byung-gu, an S-rank healer who had been through it all just like him. Min asks Yoon-ho again if he was actually going back, especially after what happened with their friend on the island. Yoon-ho told him they had to do something before it's too late. Yoon-ho also clears that he wasn't here to recruit Min. He instead just wanted to meet him one last time in case they never see each other again. Min tells him he was studying to become a civil servant, where he had to study historical dramas and whatnot. To him, that's how life should be, unlike the dangerous, unpredictable one that hunters had. But to Yoon-ho, fighting was a routine for a hunter, suddenly making him realize something regarding awakening. Finally, at his mother's side again, Jin Woo rethinks the chances of this working, but after everything that had happened to him recently, he chooses to trust it. He goes up to his mother and gently raises her with one hand while the other, shaking uncontrollably out of anxiety and fear, holds the elixir. He closes his eyes and pours the liquid down her mouth. A bright light immediately appears around her scars and wrinkles, undoing them. Jin Woo sits down beside her, anxiously waiting for the person who he had been pushing himself so far for to open their eyes once more. He looks up again, only to see his mother's beautiful smile again as she calls his name. She asks how long she had been sleeping for. 4 years, Jin Woo answers. After 4 long years, he was finally able to see his mother's smile again. She notices how much her son had grown during her absence, while also noticing the scars and bruises that had riddled his body because of the countless fighting he had been engaged in. Her show of concern for his well-being is the final straw for Jin Woo, as tears start sliding down his face. He didn't have to hold it in any longer. He could surrender his toughness just for this moment as the tender touch of a mother's loving hand eases all the worries that had been troubling him. News of the patient suffering from eternal slumber suddenly waking up completely recovered as though nothing had happened. As he watches his little sister hug their mother tightly, Jin Woo realizes that he had obtained something greater than any reward. Chairman Go addresses the public in a press conference about the 4th Jeju Island raid. He lets them know that not only was the hunter organization taking part, but 10 S-rank hunters would also be lending their hand in this mission, significantly increasing their chances. He reassures the public that this time for certain they were going to finish this. In the few days Jin Woo had been away, Jinna had turned their apartment into a pigsty. The whole family gets busy cleaning the house. Seeing happy moments like these was what his struggle was for. Though he was able to bring these back again, Jin-woo fears the changes and things he had to do to get this far might have changed him forever. Looking at an old family photo, Jin-woo's mother asks him if he had gotten any word from his father. She then reveals that Jin-woo's father was a firefighter before he became a hunter. She married him because he looked cool while saving lives, and now his son had also inherited that same attitude and persona. Jin-woo then gets a phone call as we see Chairman Go and Woo after the press conference. Woo informs Go that he had gotten word that the infamous Thomas Andre was rumored to be participating in this raid as well. Andre, who was a military-level power all by himself, wouldn't normally interfere in another country's affairs. Go suspects he was either here to intimidate them regarding Hwang Dong-soo or was here to verify something. Go then asks about Jin-woo again. This time, however, Woo had been in contact with him, and he told him he was on his way right now. Go informs Jin-woo about the details and that they were departing in 4 days. He requests his participation as well. Jin-woo considers his proposal. While it was a great opportunity to level up, he also had his family to worry about now. But before he can tell him no, a sudden wave of intense power rattles him. Go laughs, stating he knew Jin-woo would be able to sense that as he explains this was coming from the S-ranked hunters currently sparring each other. Go takes Jin-woo there, where they are met with the epic spectacle of 2 S-rankers battling it out. Yoon-ho was facing off against Ma Dong-wook of the famed guild and was on the back foot. That was because he was holding back for Ma's sake, says Jong-in as he arrives as well to witness the brawl as well. The Night Guild was there too, and the 10S rank hunters also arrived behind Guildmaster Gotu. After Gotu's translator undermines the strength of the hunters there, Park Jong-soo of the Knights Guild confronts her. Before things get out of hand, Gotu proposes they hold a hunter versus hunter battle. However, only combat-based hunters would participate, as mages were hard to judge in strength. The rules were if you can touch someone's back, grab their wrist, or drop them on the floor, you win. The teams Hunter Cha, Lim, Ma, and Yoon-ho are in one team, and hunters Tawada, Kumamoto, Hoshino, and Tanaka are on the other. And with that, the friendly match is about to begin. The 10th episode begins with the commencement of the friendly match between the elite S-rank hunters. With Gotu Ryuji watching from the sidelines, Jin-woo would be able to witness a proper battle between them. The match starts, and Hunter Ma gigantifies. All 8 then mark their opponents, taking the ones they wanted to test themselves against. The arena, fitted with special magic gems to strengthen it, continues to crumble under the hunter's feet as if it were made up of dirt. Yoon-ho realizes that Gotu was trying to test the skill level of his hunters through this little game, and so he decides to give it a proper one by going all out in his transformed beast state. The first victory goes to Tanaka, who takes down Hunter Ma, followed by Hoshino's win. The 2 victors then team up against Yoon-ho. On the other hand, he and bedazzles Tawada with her dancer-like moves, proving why she's called the dancer Hien. She then quickly heads over to where Yoon-ho was to lend him support, but finds Kumamoto behind her all of a sudden. Instinctively, she unleashes a storm of quick strikes on his face. This puts Kumamoto into his enraged state, where his power and speed suddenly skyrocket while also compromising his self-control. Even his own comrades start worrying when this happens, though Gotu tells them not to interfere unless there is a risk of injury. As the smoke clears, Kumamoto's kick is seen being blocked by Jin-woo, who had interfered since the friendly was no longer looking like one to him. Kumamoto lunges at Jin-woo, but regrets it right away as he finds himself on the ground being subdued by Jin-woo. Jin-woo asks Hien to admit defeat too, as Yoon-ho had also lost, resulting in Gotu's team's victory. Intrigued about Jin-woo's power, Gotu has his translator ask Jin-woo to a duel with him. Jin-woo finds this to be a great chance to test out the skills he's polished in the dungeon. He agrees, but on one condition, that Gotu go all out against him. Determined to put the arrogant rookie in line, Gotu approves it. Meanwhile, wanting to be useful as well, Ju-hee calls the organization to check for any spots left in the Sentry team. While Hien worries about Jin-woo's chances against a top-tier S-ranker, Yoon-ho holds out high hopes for him since he thinks Jin-woo was able to continue growing stronger after his second awakening. Jin-woo asks for the battle to begin, but before he can even finish his sentence, Gotu releases an attack. Remarkably, Jin-woo is able to dodge it despite being caught off guard, making Gotu suspect his title of mage. Jin-woo then continues to dodge all of Gotu's advancements effectively while also gauging his speed. This ticks Gotu off, and he decides to go all out against Jin Woo suddenly. Shockingly, Jin Woo manages to come out of this attack with only a little cut near his eye, although he does claim he almost lost it. Jin Woo then provokes Goto, and the two switch into final gear. Before they can fight, however, they get stopped by the spectators who knew things would get ugly quickly if they let this happen. Having seen their strengths now, Jin Woo places shadow soldiers in their shadows. Goto is surprised to learn that Jin Woo, despite his skills, was not among the list of the hunters participating in the raid. However, even without him, 15 S-ranked hunters were taking part in this mission, leading both Jong-in and Yoon-ho to believe they will secure victory this time. Jin Woo arrives home to a warm home-cooked meal by his mother. Keeping what he had now safe was his top priority, which is why he refused to take part in the raid. Somewhere on Jeju Island, the ants start running out of food and resort to cannibalism. The queen, realizing they needed to relocate soon, gives birth to a terrifying new super ant, who would lead them. The news about the ants and the raid had become common knowledge by now, inducing more and more hunters, who wouldn't have done so normally, to come forward and take part as well. Raid day finally arrives, and the fleets make their way to the island one after the other. The actor Lee Min-sung is among the many familiar faces who had decided to take part in the battle at the last second. Among them, the most notable was, of course, Min Byung-gu, the retired S-rank healer. His support was surely going to help the hunters out a lot. Goto, leading the decoy team, has his squads take position on the island. Meanwhile, the assault team takes to the air and waits for their signal to engage. Woo informs Go that all preparations were done, and with that, he gives the signal for the raid to begin. Goto and his men start off the decoy tactic by raising their powers, which draws out the ants, some of which head towards the assault team, but the ultimate hunter Jong-in wastes no time making BBQ out of them. The assault team then takes to the ground while the decoy team continues to fight the ant guards. Jong-in seals off the entry point and sends fireballs through the many tunnels there to find out the deepest one, which most likely leads to the queen. While Jin Woo finishes up on daily quests, confident that the hunters would be able to take care of this mission without him. The assault team arrives at the egg chamber where they spot the eggshell of the super ant that hatched recently. Imagining what possibly could have come out of that enormous egg terrifies them all. Out on the island, Tanaka slightly injures his shoulder during a fight. Their healer, Shimizu, jokes around about wanting something in return for healing him when more ants arrive. Tanaka asks her to quickly tell her what she wanted as he turns to her, but is stunned when he finds her head had been slashed off by the super ant.